Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to YouTube Trending Thursday. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Thank you all for being here. Glenn, it says, Jay, great trade today. Man, we made some money today in the Jockey Club, so that was a good thing. And, man, awesome last few days at the summit. I was thinking a lot more people should be in the room today. I don't know what happened. What happened? You don't think so? What do you have? Okay. I'm like, I don't know what was going on. But, so, thank you all for being here. Thank you, VV Nation, for stepping up and helping out in the summit. You guys were doing a great job talking to a lot of the people who were in the room. And, man, it was an amazing last 3 days. What happened to the suit? I don't normally wear a suit. All right, we might be all glenned out, says Jay. I know, the people that are here, 3 days of Glenn is a lot. 3 days of Glenn is a whole lot. But no suit today, just for the summit. A lot of people said that that I clean up well. That's all because of Joey. Joey makes sure that my hair looks good. And by the way, Joey sits right here at my right. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
He is my producer. So as far as stocks to look at, give me a moment. Towards the end of the presentation, we will look at individual stocks. So hold off on them. Don't put them out. 7 days of Glenn is a week. Wow. Hey, Kirby. A lot of people are here. So glad that you're all here. Give Joey a cameo today. Joey doesn't ever want to get on camera. So what's going to happen, though? Steven says, hello, name is Steven, I'm new. All the people who are new, thank you so much for being here.
This is Stephanie.
Does it say Stephanie? What did I say?
Steven.
Wow.
It's Stephanie Stevens.
It's Stephanie. Wow, that's where I got the Steven from. Stephanie, thank you for being here. All the new people that are here. How about George, the first time from Louisiana? I like me some Louisiana. Oh, gotta get that gumbo. Whee! I love Louisiana. I almost moved to Louisiana, actually. To Slidell. Almost moved to Slidell. Great summit, Glenn. Really enjoyed it. Thank you, Roger. I've started 2 days ago, says Amanda. So I'm glad that a lot of people are here. Fiverr, buy, call, Intel. Z-Pal, hold off. I will. Do not start that, Trevor. Do not start typing mug into the room. Do not type. BPM Beats. Ooh, look at that. Are you BPM Beats? Do you know I'm a DJ? That's interesting. Great day this AM. First timer made some money. Way to go, Larry.
That says Derby.
Huh?
That says Derby.
That was Derby. What did you? I know it says Derby. Great thing to. Huh?
You said great day.
Oh, shut up. Leave me alone. Joey took away my chat, so I can't chat anymore because he's being mean and rotten. All right. Once again, my name is Glenn Tompkins. Thank you, VV Nation, for being out there. Again, you know what I want you to do? I want us to get VV Nation out there in the world. So on your Facebook pages, you know, if you type hashtag VV Nation, your friends will say, hey, what is that? Send them over to our YouTube page. All right. For everybody, go put that on your Facebook. Go put that onto your Twitter. I'm going to make that go viral. Well, only you can make that go viral. We have a strong following, and we're growing. And the summit for the last 3 days showed just how strong our YouTube channel is getting. So thank you all for being here and for making it grow. My name is Glenn Tompkins. This is Trending Thursday. This is another part of our YouTube content. And I will, again, drop in just a little nugget. Joey and I and the rest of this team, we are working on new content. We will be adding a new day of YouTube commentary. It's going to be on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. I'm not going to tell you the name of the segment yet, but it's going to be a new segment. It's going to be a very entertaining segment. And that's all I'm going to tell you. And we will introduce a new character. We will grow a new character in that new segment. So very excited about that, and I need you guys to support that. If you're new to Trending Thursdays, we talk about news, stocks that are hitting the news. But we always start off with what's going on in the market. What's the Fed doing? What's our government doing? Those are a lot of things that will move markets. Normally, the economy and the market are two separate things. But I think that due to the pandemic, the economy and the market pretty much run hand in hand. So we always look at what's going on in the market, and then I look at several industries that are making news, and a lot of those industries we have watch lists for. So we can look at individual stocks, but we can also look at the whole industry as a whole to make a determination of if it's right time or not the right time to be in those industries. I know that Trader Shark is in there Trade Shark is talking about oil. We've been talking about oil and gold for the longest time. I wanted to refresh it up a little bit with other industries to bring to light. Andrea, look to see if Andrea is here. Andrea helped me out this morning in regards to a stock of interest. It was because of her sending me an email that I am going to be looking at Facebook today. Did she respond? No? All right, but that was a great email from her to just keep me on top of what's going on. Today was the day that I normally start putting together Trending Thursday stories the next day after, like today. I start working on Trending Thursday stories for next week, starting tomorrow. I did all my Trending Thursday stories today because I was so caught up in the summit. So I had to get them all done today, which was outside of the norm for me, but it is what it is. All right. So Joey, let's get them to the home page. We're going to always start off at the home page. If you're brand new to the software or you're not a subscriber to the software, that's okay. Joey's going to put a link in the chat for those of you who may not have the software. You can take a trial to VectorVest for 99 cents. For 99 cents. So if you like the commentary, you like the power of the software, 99 cents, you can take a trial. So we always start, this is the home page. From the home page, I can determine what's going on in the market. First off, let's look at all of our major indices. They're all down today. The Dow is down, the NASDAQ, S&P 500 and 100, and the VectorVest composite, all down. But they are coming off of their session lows, as we saw earlier this morning in the Derby, in the Jockey Club. They are coming off of their lows, but still down for the day. So all of them are down. Let's go look at our market timing gauge, though. This is our daily traffic light into the market. Even with the down day in the market, remember, one day doesn't make a trend. So even with the down day in the market, the color guard is mildly bullish, and we advocate it's okay to buy safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. Now, we gave that guidance last night. Right now, is it the right time to buy stocks today? Well, the market's moving down. We do have a green light in the buy to sell ratio today because it's made such a huge jump in the market over the last 6 trading days. Well, as the market is starting to run up, a lot more stocks are becoming buy recommendations. So that's why the buy to sell ratio jumped up as much as it has, in from 0.38 all the way up to 2.17. Right now, for every sell, we have 2 buys in the system. Market made a big jump. We look at the price and the RT, both of them are yellow, which is why we only have 1 green light into our daily traffic light in the market. But you see a lot of yellow and a lot of green, but no red. If you're going to be bullish at this time, you're going to be cautiously bullish. We look at the trend column. The primary wave is still up, which is the fastest market timing indicator we have. So this is what we see on the home page. We haven't done anything in the software yet, but this is what you see on the home page. Let's go take a look at why the market looks the way that it does, why it looks cautiously bullish. Now I'm going to go down and open up the first story. Leave me alone. Stop. Stop touching stuff. You did. Don't make me turn this car around. All right. Joey and I, sometimes I got to set them straight. Say, sorry, Glenn. Really? All right, fine. That's right. Joey and I have a great working relationship. We spend probably more time together doing this than we spend with anybody else, but we put a lot of work into Trending Thursday.
4 days is too much.
4 days is too much. So, big story. Workers file 2.4 million unemployment claims. Unemployment numbers are going down, but the people who are unemployed are still high. I think we have over 30 million people out of work. That's still a big number of out of work people. That's because the pandemic has hit so many jobs. A lot of jobs have had to lay off people. So when we look at trying to be cautiously bullish, we still have a rising number of unemployed. But the Fed has issued out stimulus, a lot of money, and a lot of money it looks like a lot more money is getting ready to come down the pike. Now, one thing I don't like to talk about here is religion and politics. From a religious standpoint, I'm a Christian. That's about all we're going to talk about in here. But from a political standpoint, I am going to say that with all of the money that's being pushed out, at some point in time, folks, you got to pay it all back, right? We put out $3 trillion. We're looking, the House put in another bill for another $3 trillion to pay people. Did you see the story, Joey? To pay people like $2,000 a month to the end of the year and to turn off mortgages and rent. Whew. Now, that's in the House. The Senate, it's got to go through the Senate, and I haven't heard much more about the vote in the Senate. I think it's going to be a tough pill to swallow in the Senate. We will see. But there's a lot of people who are on unemployment, and the Fed is the government is trying to make sure that these people get paid. All right? So that's big. Next story. How about this? Lawmakers seek to double duration of small business loans. Well, that's middle America. That's where we're going to be able to springboard from. It's not the super rich, of course, it's not going to be the super poor, it's going to be the middle class. The middle class is consumed or made up of a lot of these small businesses. A lot of, when we get out of this, life in general is going to change. A lot of our favorite little stores are going to be out of business. They weren't able to sustain not working. So lawmakers are seeking to double the duration of small business loans so that they can get. Now, I have another issue with that because a lot of big companies took stimulus. All right. Shake Shack, on the other hand, said, we don't need it. We're a big company. We don't need it. They gave back their stimulus. But I look at companies like Ruth's Chris. They took the money. And I think that was unfortunate because there's a lot of small mom and pop shops that are just hanging on by a thread that could have used the money that was given out to companies like Ruth's Chris. But the powers to be are still trying to look after the small businesses. And then from a Fed perspective, the Fed discussed plans to provide more economic support. The Fed has already made it known that they've got the spigots wide open to do whatever is needed to keep our economy going. Even in the pandemic, which is global, we still have the strongest economy out of everybody out there, and I believe even stronger than China. We have the strongest economy, which helps or hurts gold, because in order for gold to start moving up, we got to see the dollar get weaker. That's still not happening just quite yet. And then, even though oil is not a story that we have today, I will tell you why oil is moving. And Trade Shark was right on when he said, be careful, oil was a good time to buy. I was skeptical about oil because, what makes oil go up in price? Demand. Demand wasn't there. But what I failed to talk about is oil was going up because it was historically so low that nobody wanted to have FOMO, which is fear of missing out. And I think that that's what was pushing oil, was that people saw that oil was so low that they were buying, even though the demand wasn't there to drive it up yet. Now, as we know, the oil-producing countries are cutting back. We're looking at China. We're looking at Saudi Arabia. Not China. We're looking at Russia. We're looking at Saudi Arabia. They've already put their cutbacks on production. We still have a glut of supply with all of this that was going on. We're starting to run through that supply. Once that supply goes through, the demand is going to come. And then when the demand comes with everybody else cutting oil, then the price of oil will go up. So Trade Shark, I'm on board with you. It took me some time because I wanted a real reason to buy oil, not because it was just at a low price. All right, so that's what I got to say in regards to oil, even though oil is not a story. All right, not today. So this is some of the things that are working behind the scenes in the market. Let's go see how the market looks. We're going to get into the software. All right, we're going to get back into the software, and actually, let's do it this way. Let's go to my watch list first. Where's it at? Let's go to our watch list viewers, watch list viewer, and let's go to YouTube Trending Thursday. Where's my watch list for today? 521, right? And where's it for them, Joey? Right there. I knew that. All right, so here's our stocks that we're going to look at for our picks today. And the two stocks that we always look at to track what's going on in the market is the VectorVest Composite, the VVC, and a lot of people who don't have the software will still look at the S&P 500. Here they both are. Let's go graph them. We'll right-click. We'll view the stock graph. So here's the two. Here's the VectorVest Composite. Let's go put this on a 3-month graph. Some of this stuff I don't want. Why did you put all this stuff on here, Joey?
I thought you wanted it.
No, you thought wrong. That's not what I wanted. Support resistance. And I'm going to take off earnings per share. Here's the market. Here's the VectorVest Composite. Why do we use the VectorVest Composite? Because the VectorVest Composite looks at the move of about 8,100 stocks. All right? So what is the market doing? It's doing a little bit of a sideways mumbo right now, right at a level of current support, which is sitting at $43.79. What I do like about what I see in the VectorVest Composite, even though the market's moving sideways, look at the upward move of relative timing. Relative timing looks at the short-term price trend, in this case, of the market. The market's got more of a bullish feel right now. Look at this, connecting the lows. Whereas the market is moving sideways. Let me make that line a little darker for you so you can see it. That's an upward trend on relative timing as the market is moving sideways. That is a bullish reference. All right, we have a little bit of indecision on today's candle. Right at, where did it stop? Hey, Badger, are you here? Where did today's candle stop? Look at where it stopped, right at that level of support. Right at that level of support. Gotta love this stuff. Did he type it in the room? Tom should type in, this stuff really works. That's today's candle. There's the wick for today's candle. Let me zoom in a little bit more. There's the wick of today's candle. Where did it stop? Right at support. All right, and I'm looking at relative timing, and you don't get relative timing anyplace else. Again, it looks at the short-term price trend in the market. It's cast on a scale between 0 and 2. Above 1, the market's in an uptrend. Right now, the market's in an uptrend with RT above 1, but the stock market is moving sideways. So that's the VectorVest Composite. Let's look at the S&P. Same kind of scenario. Whereas the S&P looks at 500 stocks, is doing a lot of that sideways mumbo as well. RT, the spiders, or the S&P 500 by way of RT, has been in an uptrend since 4/7 of 2020. But after that move, what did it do? It moved sideways. But moving as S&P is moving sideways, I'm going to draw another freehand line. What's RT doing? Look at that. RT is going up higher. Both bullish indicators. Only place you'll find RT is in the software in VectorVest. But both indicators of RT are telling that both the S&P 500 and the VectorVest Composite have more of an upward feel. All right, so just keep that in mind. Down day on the S&P 500 with today's candle, but definitely, you know, looking at good times ahead. We'll see what happens. Joey, any questions? Oh my gosh, Joey is so slow at this.
If VVC is a combination of other, I'm new. Can anyone explain if VVC is a combination of other indices? How can it be lower than all of them?
All right, so the question is, if how can the VVC the VVC looks at 8,100 stocks. Okay, 8,100. As a matter of fact, let's go back to my home page. The VectorVest Composite looks at the movement of 8,175 stocks. Okay, whereas the S&P looks at 500 stocks. The Dow looks at 30 stocks. The NASDAQ looks at about 4,300 stocks, but very tech heavy. So I'm not sure if I understand the question. The VectorVest Composite looks at a lot more stocks, and that is the reason why we use it for market timing. We use the VectorVest Composite for market timing, surely, something like that, because of the amount of stocks that it looks at. That's the reason why. All right, that's what I'm looking for. All right, because of the amount of stocks it tracks. Joey? That's it. All right, so I'm going to close out of this graph. Our watch list should still be there. Good. Let's go to our next story.
Look at you, all punctual.
Our next story, you know, I've been always keeping in mind and have, Michael, are you here? Michael Crum? Everybody can see everybody's last name now. But Michael informed me that I had my coronavirus watch list on board since early February, prior to the big pandemic phase kicking in. So I've already been looking at coronavirus stocks. I've got a watch list of about 40 of them. It was interesting, a couple of weeks ago, I saw CNBC now has a coronavirus index, looking at a group of about 34, 35 coronavirus stocks. Is interesting. I'm wondering how many people, who's in here from CNBC telling people about what I'm doing? You know who's telling, Joey? Excuse me. So I've had that watch list going since early February. But in this story, it says 5 biotech stocks in focus as race for coronavirus vaccine hits up. I want to take this a little interesting. I want it to be understood that from a reality standpoint, we're not going to see a vaccine until sometime summer of next year. That's what I honestly think. Because no matter if you come up with something, it's got to be tested. FDA's got to approve it. A whole bunch of stuff needs to happen. So I know the companies are racing to find a vaccine, but let's keep it right now let's keep it 100. Right now, the coronavirus stocks are trades, more so than long-term holds. I want everybody to understand that. And if you use the watch list that we have in the software, the coronavirus watch list, you can find stocks to take advantage of every day that are trades. You can make 15, 20, 30% per day on some of these stocks. So I'm using it more of from a trading perspective, more so than trying to tell you to go buy any of these stocks long term. So within this story, there were several stocks. Moderna, that was my hot stock. And guess what? It got smoked last week, didn't it? You know why? A lot of people have made a lot of money in it. If you have stops in place, there's no way you should have given a whole bunch of that money back. But Moderna's in that story. CYDY, a biotech company testing its experimental drug. It's got one called Bob. All right? Something like that. And then we've got Gilead is in here. That stock hit the news a couple of weeks ago in that it had a drug already ready to rock and roll. All right, so there's 5 different stocks that are in here in this story, but pharmaceutical companies racing for that vaccine. Not a cure, but racing for that vaccine are hot and heavy. Let's get back into the software. Let's go find those stocks in my list. All right, where are they? Which ones are there? Pfizer is one of them, right? Pfizer, MRNA, Sanofi, that's 3, CYDY, that's 4, and I think it is BNTX. Here's the 5 stocks that are in that story. All right, let's analyze them real quick. Every stock in our software gets a value, what we feel the stock is currently worth. All right, we'd rather have you in safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price in the rising market. But right now, a lot of these stocks are going to be way overvalued. Doesn't mean that they're bad stocks. It just means that people are willing to pay a premium to own them. So if we look at all of these stocks, look at them, way overvalued, overvalued, overvalued. Well, let's go analyze them a little bit more. Our main indicators, proprietary indicators, RV, RS, RT, VST, and CI. Let's start with RV. All of these indicators are all cast on a scale between 0 and 2. Above 1 is favorable, below 1 is unfavorable. Relative value looks at a stock's long-term price appreciation potential. We compare it to an alternative investment in a AAA corporate bond. This is going to help me to realize from a long-term basis, do I want to own this stock or a AAA corporate bond? All of the relative values are below the value of 1. These are not long-term plays. Again, remember I told you a lot of these stocks are going to be trades? Well, the fundamentals behind them are already going to tell me that. All right, all of these RVs are below the value of 1. Relative safety is an indicator of risk. Relative safety looks at the consistency and the predictability of a company's financial performance. Does this company make money quarter over quarter, year over year? Above 1, the stock has a higher consistency of being able to meet or exceed earnings. Below 1, the stock normally will tend to miss out on earnings, and earnings is the biggest mover of a stock's price. When stocks hit earnings, stock price goes up. When stock misses earnings, stock price tends to go down. So I want to use this indicator as a way of, is it attractive to a longer term investor to buy? Look at these relative safeties, below the value of 1. The closest one, though, just at 1 is Pfizer. All right, so from a fundamental standpoint, looking at relative value and relative safety, these stocks don't have what it takes to be fundamentally sound. Now, let's use, when we analyze stocks, we look at the fundamentals with the insight of technical analysis. RT is our technical indicator, relative timing. Relative timing looks at the short-term price trend of a stock. Above 1, the stock's in an uptrend. The higher above 1 it is, the faster in an uptrend it is. Below 1, the stock's in a downtrend. The further below 1 it is, the faster in a downtrend it is. Let's go look at Pfizer. Nice uptrend, 1.46. Moderna, that's my stock of choice, happens to be the fastest moving stock in these 5 stocks that we're looking at right now. All right, Sanofi, 1.36 in an uptrend. CYDY, 1.39 in an uptrend. Ooh, look at BNTX, way overvalued. Doesn't have good upside potential by way of relative value. Doesn't have good consistency of price performance or consistency of financial, from a financial standpoint, which means it's more riskier, and the stock's in a downtrend. So this stock in the news may not be as good as they think that it is. It is a 3-time loser, way overvalued. They grow their earnings at a negative clip, negative 9% a year. They have negative earnings. Interesting. This is why we look at the stocks that are in the news and we use the power of the software to analyze them. The stocks that do have buy recommendations, Pfizer and Sanofi. Moderna does not. And again, I like Moderna because they've made the news and they are putting together, getting close to a vaccine that's getting ready to go out to the FDA for approval. But also negative earnings, negative growth rates. Let's look at these stocks on a graph. All right, I'm going to right click. Let's view these stocks on a graph starting with Pfizer. Look at that. I'm going to put this on a 3-month graph. Now, a lot of people may ask me, why do you look at a 3-month graph? What happens every 3 months on a stock? Earnings. Earnings is the biggest mover of a stock's price, right? So when I look at a 3-month graph, I know earnings number is somewhere in that 3-month graph, which is why I always like to look at a 3-month graph. Pfizer, though, you know, when the pandemic hit, look at that run as many of the COVID-19 stocks were rocking and rolling. Look at that. What has it done so far or most recently? Just like Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. Well, it ain't doing all that good. I'm not liking it right now as it's starting to trend down from that high. Let's go look at Moderna. Moderna got it smoked. But look at that move as these stocks were rocking and rolling. These COVID-19 stocks moved a little sideways, ran, gapped up. After that, you know what this is called? It faded the gap. And now testing it, fading that gap. Let's go draw a horizontal line. Look at where the stock's price is. Ooh, right at support. I'm thinking Moderna may have an opportunity to retest this level of support. Let's make that a little darker. All right, could be testing this level of support and bouncing back up. Or if it continues to fall down below this level of support, the party may be over on Moderna. All right. RT is still high, but starting to pull back. Stock's still in an uptrend, but the uptrend is weakening. All right. These are the things that help you to manage a trade once you're in it. Let's go to the next one. Sanofi, also moving sideways. RT starting to slope down a little bit, but stock is in an uptrend, down day to day. Let's go to the next one. Now, CYDY also moving sideways, but a little bit of indecision today, but a green candle. Indecision, but a green candle. And you know something, if Patrick were here, he'd be so proud of me. Look at the highs. Look at the lows. We got a little bit of a consolidation pattern here. Stock is in a little bit of a channel, but it is a rising channel. It is a rising channel, so this stock may have some upside ability as the stock is consolidating right now, but it is an upward wedge gap, wedge pennant, however you want to look at it. It is uptrending. All right, and the last stock we have, man, BNTX made that story, but compared to all of the other COVID-19 stocks, don't look so good. All right, and the stock's in a downtrend. So I'm going to do one other thing. Those are the stocks that we looked at. We do have a watch list of coronavirus stocks. In that watch list, I have, how many stocks, Joey? Do you remember?
16.
Wrong, 40. I've got 40 stocks. And you know what I love about this list, and everybody in the software has this watch list. If you go down in the watch list viewer and you go down to special watch lists right here, what do you see right there, folks? Coronavirus stocks. So all of you have this. All right, all of you have this. Let's go back to my watch list in a second. But you know what I like about this watch list from a trade perspective? Every morning, sort this by percent price change. Whew, we can see which stocks are moving. If I am trying to find a long-term pharmaceutical stock to get into, sort this list by relative value. How about Alexion has a good upside potential? How about this is a 3-time winner as a pharmaceutical, folks? Good upside potential, safe, going up in price, buy recommendation, positive earnings, good earnings growth rate. So if you're looking for a long-term pharmaceutical, that may not be a bad idea. REGN, same kind of scenario. REGN is even stronger than ALXM. Look at that, good upside potential, good safety. Good. Wow, that's a much better choice from a long-term perspective. Which ones of these meet their earnings more? How about REGN comes up to the top of the list again? The safest stocks in my watch list of 40 stocks. Biogen, right behind it. ABBV. Man, you have this watch list can provide you with so much information on stocks you might want to take advantage of. All right, Joey, any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple here.
Okay.
Let's do FinTrade. Do you think MRNA is a technical trade or more of a story on COVID?
The question is, do I think mRNA is a technical trade or more of a story on? Well, I'm thinking it is a technical trade because it is about COVID-19. All right, the stock is way overvalued, Trade Shark. It's got horrible fundamentals. The only thing that's got me moving is that the RT is above 1.58. All right, hey, Trade Shark, that is the epitome of a trade. Right there, when I can use the VectorVest indicators to show me that the fundamentals are not there, but the stock is moving up, bad earnings growth, this is strictly a technical play. MRNA is strictly a technical play. Joey?
When do you prefer to switch from regular MACD to the 3/8 EMA?
When do I want to look at regular MACD to the 3 or the 8 EMA? I can use them both in conjunction with each other. There's no switching between. Even when I look at a graph, I like the 3 and the 8 exponential moving averages. In these presentations, because I'm looking at stocks in the news, I'd prefer to use a 20-day exponential moving average because not all of these stocks are trades. Some of the stocks that are in the news may be longer-term holds. So I try to cut into the middle from these perspectives, from looking at the news stories on Trending Thursdays. I'm starting to use the 20-day exponential moving average because I'd rather, from a story basis, have you in a stock from a swing trade perspective. I want to show you something. Let's go back to MRNA, all right, and let's go put on the 20-day exponential moving average. What do I have? Graph layouts. Where is Twitch? There it is. That's not what I want. GETJR. That is not what I want.
There's 2 Twitches there.
There's 2 Twitch? All right, that's the 3 and the 8. Oh, and the 20 is there. Good. Look at that. Look at that, Rich. Even on the 20-day exponential moving average, it's still okay to be in that stock. Now, if I'm a little bit nervous because the stock is pulling back, I'd have probably a trailing stop in here. Or better yet, let's take off the 20. In this case, if I want to trade it, use the 3 and the 8, Rich. And how about even on the 3 and the 8, I'm still in it. How about on the 3 and the 8? And I love the 3 and the 8. Whether I'm swing trading or day trading, it does a really good job from keeping me getting all caught up in anxiety. And someone was talking about the MACD. Let's go put on the MACD. There it is.
Explain what the MACD is.
The MACD is the moving average convergence divergence. It utilizes a MACD line and a signal line. And I'm looking for the MACD line, which is the blue line, to go above this white line, which is the signal line. How do I get a call to know when it's okay to buy? When the MACD line crosses above, right here, All right, was that a good opportunity? Put that in conjunction with the 3 and the 8. Beautiful opportunity. Now, as the stock's price, like Moderna, is moving back now, the 3 and the 8 haven't gotten me out, and MACD haven't gotten me out yet either, but the histogram on the MACD is showing me that the stock is losing momentum. Well, I can look at the price and see that as well. I can look at RT and see that. So, you know, this is where you would put in tight stops. If you've made some money, don't give it all back. All right, Joey?
How do I add the VVC to my watch list under graph?
I don't understand that question.
How do I add the VVC to my watch list?
How do you add the VVC to your watch list? You would type, the VectorVest composite has a ticker symbol in the software called VVC. You can add the VVC to your watch list.
So for MRNA, do we even look at RSI? And do we weigh these factors based on how long we plan to hold?
All right, so question is, do you look at RSI on mRNA? No, I'm not. RSI and stochastics, I better use when the stock is moving sideways. I can clearly see by moving averages if the stock is trending up or down. All right, so keep that in mind. I don't want to use RSI for that because a lot of time, if I add RSI to the graph, let's add that parameter. When you add RSI or stochastics to a graph, a stock could be shown that it's in overbought territory for a while. Look at that. See how long the stock was in overbought territory? What did the stock's price do? Continue to move up. Overbought territory, the stock is moving up. Overbought territory, and finally it's starting to move down. RSI is a heads-up indicator, not a trigger to get out. I will use moving averages. I could use MACD to get out. I will not use RSI as a trigger to get out. I will use RSI as an indicator for heads up. All right, that was because those are trying to find stocks that are overbought or oversold. That's when I would use either RSI or stochastics.
All right, last question. Is there a trading software that will automatically place a trade when the 3 crosses the 8?
Question is there a software that will place a trade when the 3 crosses the 8? Not at this time. Now, I can set up a search and I can set up a trading system. Let me close out of this graph. I do want to close out of this graph. I can set up a trading system within the Unisearch tool, and if you want to know more about that, join me for Training Tuesdays. But I can set up a trading system within the software and where I have the 3 and the 8, and I can use it to trigger when it buys trades or buys the stocks into a portfolio and then go make the trade to my broker, but not on an automated basis. Even if I have Robo Trader, it will signal and then I would have to okay the Robo Trader to send it over to one of our partner brokers. That's as close as I can get for you. All right, that last question. All right, let's get to our next story. Great questions, by the way. Next story is about 5G. 5G is starting to hit. Again, 5G is still coming despite COVID-19. These are the stocks to set to benefit first. So I've got the stocks from here. Verizon is in here. AT&T is in here. Nvidia. I'm going to also look at the ETF for 5G as well. But, you know, no matter what, even through a pandemic, 5G is going to rock and roll. And if you want to be in on it, I'm going to help you to find some stocks to get into them. All right, so that's the story. Let's get back into the software. Let's go back to my watch list for today, which is on 521. All right, my 5G stocks that are in here. Interesting, you know, the stocks in the watch list are already sorted by our master indicator VST. So the stocks that have the best combination of value, safety, and timing will migrate to the top of the list. So the first story here is Nvidia. I'm going to look at 5G, I'm going to look at Verizon, and I'm going to look at AT&T. Those are going to be my stocks that primarily we're going to look at. Those were the 4 stocks that were in that story. Let's analyze them real quick. Nvidia, way over its value, trading at 352, its value is 184. Again, that doesn't mean that it's a bad stock. It means that people are willing to pay a premium. You know what's interesting about that? Because it's 5G, that could be a precursor that 5G is getting ready to really rock and roll. People are jumping on board a stock that's in the 5G space. Even though it's worth $184, If people have a perception that it's going to move higher, it's going to drive the stock's price higher to make it overvalued. Now, let's analyze it a little further. It's got an RV above 1. So the stock's got some good staying power, good upside potential as compared to a AAA corporate bond. Nvidia is a safe stock. So RS above 1, it is not a risky stock. And RT above 1, nicely above 1, Nvidia is in a good uptrend. Positive earnings, grows their earnings at a clip of 17% a year. Defiance, that is the 5G ETF. We're going to come back to that. Verizon, nicely undervalued though. This company's been around a minute, nicely undervalued, good upside potential, relative safety below 1. So RV above 1, relative safety below 1, this is more of an aggressive trade. RT right at 1. So I would keep my eye on it. What I'd really like to see is RT get above 1 to tell me that Verizon is now in an uptrend. But this is more of an aggressive trade because upside potential is higher than relative safety. I'm willing to give up some safety to get a big pop in it. AT&T, very fairly valued. Upside potential just barely below 1, really not there. Not nearly as safe as Verizon, even though both of them are below the value of 1, but I would think that Verizon is a tad bit more safe with a higher relative safety, and AT&T is in a downtrend. Negative growth of earnings, negative growth of earnings. So let's take a look at all 4 of these stocks on a graph. Let's do that. All right, man, look at Nvidia. Look at it rock and roll. It's, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I want to get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. All right, let's take off RSI. But even from a MACD perspective, notice that the stock's price pulled back. MACD got you out. Look at that. I'm going to put the 20-day exponential moving average back on, take off the 3 and the 8. Look at that run on Nvidia. From a swing trade perspective, look how well that 20-day exponential moving average is serving as a level of support. If I'm looking at a 5G stock to hold, look at that 20-day. I like it. RT above 1. MACD, the faster signal, got you in, got you out, but that 20-day kept you in. That 20-day kept you in. Now the stock's price is starting to fall. Well, if you're in it, you've made some money on it. Just manage it. Just manage the trade. All right, next one, 5G. This is an ETF of the whole 5G space. I don't know how many of you knew that existed, but it's FIVG. I'm going to take off MACD for a second. I want to say the whole space is moving up. Look at that. Look at the RT on the 5G space. Now, the space is moving sideways, but I've got a lot of bullish feel on it right now because of RT. All right, let's go look at Verizon. Man, Verizon in this space doesn't look good. So now what you're getting ready to see is which stocks in this space are leaders and which ones are laggards. Verizon's in this space. This is more of a laggard, where if I go back to Nvidia, that's more of a leader. Everybody in the room understand that? This is why we look at the graphs. The stories are out there, but we use the power of the software, and now I can start to see which stocks are the leaders and which stocks are actually the laggards. I want to stay away from the laggards. AT&T along with Verizon. AT&T is not as much in a downtrend as Verizon, but definitely moving sideways with a beautiful floor sitting right here at the level of $27.43, but look at RT. RT is telling me it was not the right time to be in AT&T right now. So now I'm going to close out of that graph. Even though I had the 5G ETF, I do have a 5G watch list. Let's go see which out of the 5G stocks, we created this watch list. This watch list has how many stocks in it? 43. All right. If I'm trying to find out which stocks are the best in this space, how about starting with the list sorted by VST? Nvidia has the best combination of RV, RS, and RT. Intel right behind it. AMD, Apple, the best stock in the whole wide world. I still call it the best stock in the whole wide world. And now I can get a list of which stocks are the best of the bunch. the cream of the crop in this industry. Now notice that a lot of them are down today. That's fine. Let's go see which ones are up the most today. Sort by percent price change. Which ones are up the most today? There it is, ADTN. A little bit overvalued, not good upside potential, not good safety. This is strictly a technical play because the stock's in an uptrend. Earnings perspective on it is not good. Strictly a technical play. So I can look at that 5G stocks knowing that the industry may be on the rise or on the verge of rising. If I want to be a little bit more aggressive, look at the ones that are popping. If I want to look at some of the safest ones in here, the ones that meet or exceed their earnings expectations, let's see what comes up to the top of the list now. What's up there? Nvidia, Google, Skyworks, the names that you know, the software is bringing to the forefront. You can sort this any which way you want, depending on how you want to invest. You want to be aggressive in the 5G, sort it correctly. You want to be conservative in the 5G, sort it correctly. This watch list capability can now put into your hands what you want to do. Any questions, Joey?
Is it possible to create a watch list with industries rather than stocks?
Sure. So if I want to create a watch list of industries instead of stocks, let's go down to the industry viewer. I can do that. And let's go say that I want to see what the top industries are right now by RT. I can take these top few. Let's just do that. Highlight them, right click, and I should be able to put them into a watch list. Son of a gun, why can't I? There is a way to do this. Hold on, you put me on the spot right now, so I gotta come through. I gotta come through. There is a way. Oh, let's do it this way. Let's go to the Unisearch tool. Let's go to Delta Searches Industries. Let's try it this way. Let's go to a 10-day price delta on industries. Which industries are moving up over the last 10 days? I'm going to run the search. All right, so now I'm returning industries. Here's a list of all of my industries. Petroleum drilling has gone up 41% in price as an industry, followed by computer memory devices and so on. Let's do this. Let me see if it'll let me do it from here. Maybe the answer to your question is no. I have to look into that. Maybe the answer to your question is no. I'll check. But notice that we're going to get ready to talk about marijuana stocks next. It's had a big move in the industry as far as price. Marijuana stocks is my next story up 15% in the last 10 days. But just like what Trade Shark was talking about, how about petroleum? Three petroleum industries have moved up a lot in the last 10 days. So I honestly thought you could put a watch list. Let me look at, I'll have you a better answer next week. It'll either be no or yes. I thought that we could, maybe I've never been asked that question before. Maybe I've never created a watch list of industries. So there we go. That's a good question. Next question, Joey.
Is this 5G watch list available for desktop users or only Glenn?
No, the 5G watch list should also be under, let's go back to viewers. Let's go to watch list viewer. Go check the special watch lists. Overview watch list. We've done this as an overview, as a special presentation. There in the overview watch list is your 5G stocks. Got them right there. So you can have your watch list. This has 43, just like I do. Here's your 43. Everybody's got them. So you can use that 5G watch list the same way that I just showed you how. All right? Any other questions, Joey?
He says 5G has very bad CI. Why do you think, Glenn? What does it mean for us? Because I like it a lot.
All right, so CI, question is, the 5G has bad CI. So let's go back to my graphs, and I'm going to put in the index for, remember the ETF FIVG? All right, and I'm going to put CI on capital appreciation. Let's add CI. As a group, CI is not there yet because CI looks at a stock's ability to withstand long or lengthy price declines. Well, the stock is doing what? Up and down, up and down, up and down. Stocks that tend to have a high CI, let's go back here. Stocks that tend, or in this case, an ETF that tends to have a high CI tends to be in an uptrend. Look at all of this time when the 5G was rocking and rolling. CI never got above 5. Never got above 1. What am I on? That's a 1-year graph. And look at the big downtrend that it had. All right, stocks that have high CI are stocks that tend to go up more than they go down. And it looks like this would have been a good opportunity for 5G to have a higher CI, but because of all the up and down and up and down and up and down, CI didn't have enough time to rock and roll to say that, hey, CI is finally above 1. And even here, good question, even here, not enough up compared to down to have a high CI. That's why. It's moving up, but look at this, pullback, 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 pullback. That's what's hurting the CI, not getting it to where it needs to be. Hopefully it answers that question.
Do you have a glossary of all the terms and key entries on the software?
The question is, do we have a glossary of all the key terms and things in here? If I go to tools, I may have...
Can't they get it from
the Training Tuesday?
No, the report, the free stock analysis?
We might be able to, but let's do this. Let's go to viewers. Let's go to any stock. Right-click on the stock, full stock analysis report. I'm wondering if that's what you're looking for. So all of our indicators like RV, RS, RT from a full stock analysis report explains what each indicator is. And then all of the other indicators that are in this software, there's definitions for them. For people who are brand new, I will probably say you need to print one of these. All right? Can you please show which Unisearch shows the 3 and 8 MA? In order to do that, in order to have a Unisearch that has the 3 and the 8 MA, you've got to have Pro Trader. All right, on a graph, you can see the 3 and the 8. But if I want to build a search that's got, let's go stock price split adjusted. When I go to operator, if I don't have Pro Trader, I cannot add an EMA to my search. I've got to have Pro Trader. It is in the Pro Trader functionality in the search. You've got to have Pro Trader. And if you do, you can go to EMA and under value, I can set up a 3 crossing in the past 1 day above the 8. And that's how I create a 3-8 search. But I've got to have, under the operator, I've got to have Pro Trader to do it. All right, now I'm going to have to keep moving.
Last question, is there hotkeys for quick buys while day trading?
Is there hotkeys for quick buys while day trading? Understand that we're not a broker, so you can't buy directly through the VectorVest software. But you can link the VectorVest software up to one of our partner brokers like TradeStation. Jesus Nava did a great job on TradeStation order entry, on Ally, or on Interactive Brokers. So because we're not a broker, you can't buy directly through us, but I can set up a trading system. And if I go back to the viewers tab, you can set up a trading system. Let's go to events. Go out. We have a trading systems viewer, which I'm going to come back to today. And let's say I like one of these trading systems. Let's say I like marijuana stocks and Contras. Over the last month, it's up 36%. I can right click on this. I can then go trade with Robo Trader. And if I do that, I can set up one of my brokers to trade that trading system. It already knows when to buy, what to buy, when to sell. And it will set up to trade directly to one of the trading brokers. Let's say Trending Thursday. All right. And now, which trading system? There it is. And how much do I want to invest? Let's go say I want to put in $5,000. I got no money in this account. They won't let me. All right, but I can put up how much I want to invest, and that is a full-blown trading system right here that you can trade directly into Robo Trader. All right. Let's go to the next story. Folks, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Another stock that was in the story for 5G was Nvidia. I like that stock. We looked at it a little bit, but Nvidia's stock surges to all-time high ahead of earnings. So when I say I like that stock, when I went back to that watch list, let's go back to the watch list viewer real quick. And we went to the 5G watch list. What's at the top of the list? One of the stocks that are at the top of the list is what? Nvidia. Thus the reason why I like Nvidia. It's the best stock in this watch list by our master indicator VST. All right, so just keep that in mind. Let me scroll down to my watch list again. All right, and let's get into the next story. This is about marijuana stocks. Canadians. I don't know why I always say Canada. Canada's Aurora Cannabis jumps into the U.S. buying a CBD product maker. Aurora beat up earnings. They got infused with a lot of money. Before deep losses unseated Aurora, they were about to go out of business. Aurora was about to go out of business. Aurora Cannabis, from the head of the Canadian pot pack, investors were impatient for the company to find its way into the U.S. market. Now the company has found a thrifty entry ticket. This is a stock that's definitely been making the news as far as marijuana stocks, and is the main stock that's pulling up this industry. Let's get back into my watch list, and let's go look at Aurora, ACB. How about the stock is clearly overvalued? Upside potential, not there. Relative safety indicator of risk, not there. Trade shark. This becomes strictly a trade right now. Negative earnings, but they're turning their earnings growth rate around. They're growing their earnings now at a positive clip of 15% a year, but negative earnings. I don't like that. This is strictly a technical play. This is the only stock that I'm looking at here. Let's right-click, view the stock graph. This is strictly news driven. Does everybody see that? There's a split. There was a split on Aurora, which was, what was it, 1 to 12 on 5/11. Where's the earnings recently? There's the earnings date. And look at it jump up. Boom. All right. 3 and the 8. Let's take off let's put on the 20 real quick. Nicely above the 20-day exponential moving average from a trading perspective. The 3 and the 8 are still good. I love that the stock's price pulled back. The 3 and the 8 on an end-of-day basis still has you in it. RT is above 1. The stock is still in an uptrend. Today is a down day. If I'm not in it, I'm looking to see if the stock can break out from these levels of the pivot high. Hasn't happened yet, but the stock has moved from a sell to a hold to a buy to a hold to a buy. It's no longer a sell as it has been for a lot of the past 3 months. That's positive. RT rising. That's positive. So let's go look at the whole industry. I do have pot stocks. Let's go look at the whole industry, and let's go find out if Aurora is at the top of the list. How many stocks do I have in the pot stocks? I think I have about 80. I got 202 marijuana stocks. All right, let's go see where ACB sits. Man, it's not in the best of the best. Interesting. Even though it's making the news, how about GRWG is a better play? It's got the best combination of value, safety, and timing with a VST of 1.4. Earnings, positive, growing their earnings at a clip of 37%. But how about GWPH? One of the more expensive marijuana stocks, overvalued, good upside potential. Notice that the first 5 or 6 stocks in this space have good upside potential. The safety is not there, but they have good upside potential. Long-term, weed's going to be a good way to go, I think. And not only that, many of these have relative timings above 1, good combinations of value, safety, and timing. Not all of them go up compared to go down. Notice that CI, the only one that's got a CI above 1 is GRWG. Everybody has access to this too. I believe it's probably in a special watch list. Maybe, let's go see, or was it in an overview watch list? Where is it? HIJK. It's not here. Interesting. It should be. Brazilian, Indian. Maybe we don't. So another way to find the marijuana stocks, if you wanted to find them, let's go find in the industry viewer. Let me show you where to find these stocks. Within the industry viewer, let's go sort the industry alphabetically by clicking on it, right? Clicking on the word industry. I'm going to click on it. Let's leave it alone. Let's go to healthcare. Healthcare. Is it healthcare? There it is. Healthcare marijuana. There's the industry. If you right-click on it and say view the stocks in the industry group, I had a list of 200 stocks, right? The whole industry's got 203 stocks. Look at that. Now, if you want to skim through this, let me show you how to do something. I'm going to click on price. All right, and what I want to do, I'm going to click on price again. What I want to do is take out the marijuana stocks that are like below $1. There's a lot of them. All right, when I put these all into a watch list, be careful with these stocks that are below $1. Actually, a lot of these are below 1 cent. This is a very speculative place if you're going to play these stocks. I'd rather, let's sort by price again. I'd rather have you play in the field where price is, a little bit more than just zero. All right, I'm going to close out of that. I'm going to go back to the watch list, go back to our watch list because I'm going to do something. Pot stocks. I'm going to show you how to cull the list. All right, we've got over 200 stocks in here, right? I'm going to sort by price. I took the stocks from that industry, highlighted them, and created my own watch list. I'm going to sort by price again. I'm going to show you how to cull the list. I sorted by price again. All of these stocks that are below 1 penny, I highlight them, right-click, delete the item. Now my list goes from 202 stocks down to 162. Notice I still have a lot of stocks that are below a penny. Highlight them, do it again. Man, I'd rather not have you in these unless you really want to play them. Unless you want to play them, by all means, go ahead and do so. But I'd rather have you in a higher quality of marijuana stock. Let's now down to 122 stocks. I keep going through the list. Right-click, delete the item. This is the way you're going to make a proper watch list of the marijuana stocks. Right-click, click. Man, there's a lot of stocks in here that are way dirt cheap. These are 40 cents. I'm going to want to get to a point where I'm looking at stocks that are at least $1. How many stocks are now in my list? 42. Now highlight them. My first stock that's $1. Everything that's less than $1, right-click and delete them. So I took from the industry all of those stocks to include all of the sub-penny stocks, put them into one industry. Once you've culled the list, I now have 29 stocks. These stocks are now at least $1. Sort by VST again. So there you go. I just showed you live and in fashion how to take a list of stocks from an industry, put them into your own watch list, and then cull the watch list. So there you go. Any questions? No? Good to go. All right. Let's get to our next story. And now I'm going to talk about travel stocks. Let's talk about travel stocks. All right. From that perspective, analysts lower price targets on Carnival and Norwegian cruise lines and Royal. All right. These companies, I saw an ad for, it must have been Carnival, trying to sell tickets for $28 a ticket to go on a cruise. I don't know how many people are going to feel real comfortable jumping on board a cruise just quite yet. But you can see these cruise lines have gotten hurt so much that they're doing whatever they can to start to get people on board. But interesting, let me show you a little bit about the companies. Let's go back into our watch list. Excuse me, did that happen on live? Ooh, gosh. Let's go 521. The stocks of mine that I'm looking at that are part of that space will be CCL and Norwegian. All right, and then I have a travel watch list that we'll look at as well. All right, CCL and Norwegian. Both of them are sell recommendations. That makes sense because they've gotten beaten up, right? The market is not having people travel. So with that, sell recommendations. Norwegian does have a good upside potential above 1 with relative value, but all the way across the board, not good stocks to get into. All right, I'm going to right-click, and let's go take a look at the graphs. This is going to be interesting. Notice that, I'm going to put this on a 3-month graph. Notice that as we're trying to get into the mode of reopening, this is what I'm looking for in CCL or any of them. Look at their earnings per share. That makes sense. That makes sense that they've gotten beaten up, so earnings are going to take a hit. But look at the rise in RT. Not anywhere near above 1 yet, but look at the rise in RT. As the stock's price is moving up, notice the 3 and 8 is positive right now. I'm going to keep my eyes on these. I know the story says they've been downgraded, but I'm thinking that slowly but surely, as we're starting to reopen, I think people who have never been on a cruise are going to be given an opportunity to grow or to go at such a low cost. But what's the real cost? What happens if you get on another boat and it gets another coronavirus outbreak? Then what? So I'm kind of mixed. I like that, people might be jumping on board to say, hey, I've never been on a cruise. This is the best. Just like with oil. Oil was as low as it was. People were buying it. Cruise tickets are going to be as low as they've ever been. People may be taking their first cruises, but I'm just telling you from the perspective of keeping your eye on a possible bump up. I see a Norwegian, again, earnings is not going to really play into this because I know that they've been beaten up. What I'm looking at is price action. And the story says that these were downgraded, but look at them starting to bump up just a little bit. As we get close to reopening, just an industry that you want to keep your eye on. So I'm just putting that out there. Any questions, Joey? No. All right. Let's go to one more story. These are my stocks of interest. All right, so these are my stocks of interest. Boeing caught my attention. Boeing stock will rebound. Analyst says investors just need to look beyond COVID-19. I think that the story is missing something. Boeing is where it is because of the bad things that have happened to it. People have died in their airplanes. All right, so prior to COVID-19, Boeing was already in the doldrums. COVID-19 just helped to push them further in the doldrums. They've lost a lot of business. Airbus is picking up a lot of their business. Lockheed and all of them are picking up a lot of Boeing's military business. But there is a bright side to Boeing, is in that Boeing has been around for a long time, and I think people do trust them that they will come back. Then some people are saying, I think Boeing's going to go out of business. I don't think the government, this is my opinion, folks, this is strictly my opinion. I don't think the government will let Boeing go out of business. They've got a lot of contracts to hold. I don't think government lets them go out of business. And I think that this story is looking beyond where Boeing was before COVID-19 hit. That's my extra 2 cents in there. All right, and another story that caught my attention, Andrea. I'm wondering if Andrea is here yet. Did she ever respond? Andrea sent me this story about Facebook. Interesting. Look at this. Facebook launches Shops feature for small business as online shopping surges. So think about it. How many small businesses have been closed, had to lay off? Remember, I'm talking about the mom and pop people. All right, I think Facebook is giving people, these smaller businesses, an opportunity to still sell their product by way of Facebook. I think that that's a brilliant idea to help the small business people. I think it's brilliant. So that was a stock that caught my attention as well. All right, let's go take a look at those 2 stocks. So that was Facebook. How about Facebook? Is this sorted by VST? How about Facebook is the #1 stock by VST, by value, safety, and timing in the list? And my other one was Boeing, which is probably, where's Boeing? BA, towards the bottom. All right, Boeing's a sell. Let's analyze them. How about Facebook is actually undervalued? All right, Facebook is undervalued, got good upside potential, good safe stock that's moving up in price. A 3-time winner, a buy, positive earnings and positive earnings growth. I like that. And I think with the addition of these shops for the small businesses, it's going to help that stock grow even more. Boeing, on the other hand, is undervalued. Everything about it, though, is hurting. Upside potential is not there. The safety is not there. And the stock is definitely in a downtrend. Negative earnings growth rate, even though earnings are positive, was because they took them a lot of years to get to those positive earnings, right? With everything that's going on, though, on a year-over-year basis, though, they're growing their business in a negative fashion, but that makes sense. Let's go take a look at both of these graphs. Again, these are stocks that caught my attention. Facebook looks good. Put this on a 3-month graph. Facebook looks good. Look at the run-up on it. I bet you CI, well, it's not even as high as I think it should be. That's interesting. Let's go put that back on. I'm looking at CI on the right-hand side. Man, you would think that CI would rock and roll. It probably will come to its own. It will. But the stock's price is rising, hitting a new 3-month high. Relative timing is rising. And the earnings, even though it's not as good as I'd like it to be, it's still better than a lot of other stocks that are out there. Just keep that in mind. All right, but I do like Facebook. Today probably wouldn't be the day to buy it, but the 3 and the 8 are still in place. Let's go put on the 20-day exponential moving average. Look at that. Another 20-day exponential moving average that's serving as a beautiful level of support for the stock. I like that it broke through resistance, tested it as support, bounced back up, and is now rocking and rolling again. I would wait for an open green candle before I bought. And then on the other side of the spectrum is Boeing. Boeing, look at the 20-day, below the 20-day. Now, it just pumped up above the 20-day. Man, I need more than just today for that to happen. If I'm feeling that Boeing is going to be a run-up, I'm not ready yet. Not ready yet. Now, I do like a hammer formation right here, pop up through. I need more confirmation before I pull the trigger. All right? So those are my 2 stocks of interest. Any questions, Joey? All right. Well, now did I confuse the heck out of everybody today? You're all kind of quiet.
Just comments. There's just no questions.
No questions. All right. So now we get to what everybody wants. Let's go take a look at your stocks. Let's go take a look at your stocks. Start typing them into the room. Joey will let me know what stocks I'm going to type in. So you better be on Joey's good side.
You said we just love listening to you.
Is that who said that? Somebody
Joe
said you just love listening to me. All right. Well,
we got a lot on ENPH today.
ENPH. Okay.
Tell them just one per person.
One per person, please.
COUP.
COUP.
NGD.
Say it again.
NGD.
Man, you can't speak English sometimes.
Wow. Beyond.
BYND.
GDX.
GDX. INO.
Shop.
SOHP.
Netflix.
Everybody's at home Netflixing and chilling.
SONO.
SONO. I'm just gonna say there's gonna be a lot of babies in December.
LOGI.
LOG. Logitech.
Some of these guys are just putting into FSM.
FSM.
Yep.
Okay.
Disney.
DIS.
XSPA.
SSPA.
XS.
XSPA. Holy smokes. I wish you really do learn how to speak some English.
Wow, you couldn't even read earlier.
Well, that's different.
Steven. DKNG.
DKNG.
DOCU.
Docu. Yep.
AMD.
AMD.
And we'll take 2 more.
Okay.
We'll do HUM.
HUM.
And SE.
SE.
Yes, sir.
SE. All right. So Joey's going to type in the room. For anybody who didn't get their stock put up in here, Joey's going to type a link in the room where you can click on that link and get a free stock analysis on any stock we track. All right. I'm going to put these so everybody understands why I look at a 3-month graph, because again, earnings is the engine that makes a stock's price move higher. I like looking at 1/4 of a stock. All right. One quarter of a stock's graph. So ENPH, love the earnings per share. Let's go make that area. Love the earnings per share. RT above 1. Watch RT though. RT is starting to fall a little bit. Heads up. Stock's price. Anybody want to know what that is? That candle pattern is called a shooting star. Had follow through. Shooting star that turned into a bearish engulfing. And the stock's price is falling. Just be careful with ENPH. Make sure you have good stops in place. Tom, look at that right there. What's that level? 59.08, beautiful level of support. Look at where the price is, still above it. So if you're in it, leave it alone. If you're in it, don't panic. Stop panicking. Let the stock come to you, all right? But love the earnings. RT is rolling over a little bit because price is falling, but above the 20-day exponential moving average and above that level of support, it's good. All right, next one, Coop. Coupa Software. RT looks good. Above the 20-day, looks beautiful. I like it. Past couple of days, though, the price is closed lower than the open. That's why it's a closed candle, but they still are green because they're higher than the previous day's candle. You couldn't ask for a better looking equity curve. Now, earnings is falling. Just make sure you put tighter stops on it because, remember, earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. RT is good. If you own it, leave it alone. If I don't, I'd like to see the stock move above that level of the high. NGD, new gold. All right, so I've been talking about gold and oil. Gold is rocking. It has been rocking. The dollar, though, hasn't fallen yet. The value of the dollar hasn't fallen, but this, if you were playing gold, this would have been a good play. RT went above the value of 1 right here on 413, above the 20. A couple of things happened. Jumped above the value of 1 of RT, and the stock broke above the 20-day exponential moving average. How about putting them both together? Look at that run. Look at that run. Right now, down day to day, I probably wouldn't buy it today. And if I am going to get into it, if I'm not into it yet, I'd go about 5 cents higher than the high. All right, the stock still looks like it's got some upside. All right, if you're in it, leave it alone. If you're not, wait until it goes above that previous high. Next one, Beyond Meat. I made some money on Beyond Meat a couple of times now. Right now, it's moving sideways. You know what's driving Beyond Meat? A lot of meat factories or meat processing facilities are closing down because the workers work close enough, and you can get a COVID-19, you can get the Rona just working next to each other. So they've closed down. So a lot of companies are going to a substitute, which is Beyond Meat, which was nicely driving the stock's price higher. And then what happened is I think they ate the meat and they said, ew, I don't want that stuff. Listen, I've made money on Beyond Meat. I ain't eating it. Just ain't eating it. If it ain't cow, I'm not eating it. So either cow or bacon, I ain't eating it. So Joey and I, because we've been working at the summit all week, we've had brisket how many days?
At least 2.
At least 2 days. So I went home yesterday and I said, baby, I got too much dead cow in my belly. But listen, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But I think that, I don't want to call it the novelty, but I think that we'll see what happens. I wouldn't touch it right now, not unless it went higher than the high. It's moving sideways. If you own it, leave it alone. If you're not in it, I'd wait for it to go higher than the high. All right, let's go to the next stock, GDX, another gold stock. So we looked at 2. This is another one, lower, not nearly as low as the dollar a stock. RT above 1. How about putting them in combination? RT above 1, above the 20-day exponential moving average. Boom, look at it go. Watch, though, RT starting to pull back, stock's price is pulling back. If you own the stock, I'm looking at a 20-day exponential moving average. If it falls below it, you might want to take half off the table. Don't give it all back, especially if you've made a good profit. All right, let's go to the next one. INO. Man, this is a little bit more of a volatile stock, up and down. Broke through the 20-day exponential moving average. Now had you back in. It's approaching that 20-day. RT is falling. Earnings is getting better on it, and that's a good thing. That's a good positive thing. But up and down, what you look at a graph, what you see is what you get. If you don't want to trade like this, then this is not a stock that you want. Just keep that in mind. This is a lot of a trade type of stock. RT below 1, RS below 1. Let me go add capital appreciation. I want to look at our indicators. There's RV, RT, RS, and let's go put on earnings per share. So RV, RS, this is not a fundamentally sound stock. Not at all. And RT right now is only at a level of, it's at a level of 1.7. This is strictly a trade. This is strictly a trade. And I can look at the graph and I can tell that it's strictly a trade. It's a lot more volatile than a lot of other stocks, so keep that in mind. INO is a trade, put the right stops on board. Shopify, on the other hand, relative safety is there. A long-term upside potential is not there, but man, look at that stock's price run. Look at it run. RT is above 1 and pretty steadily across. Earnings, for the most part, is not where I'd like it to be. I put tighter stops on it. But look at that equity curve. How about RT went above 1 along with above the 20-day? Let me show you something real quick. If you like the combination of RT going above 1 and the stock going above its 20-day exponential moving average, let me show you something real quick. This is not part of what I'm going to normally do. Let's do this. EMA, let's go 1 day crossed above the 20-day. So that means price, that price went above the 20-day. All right, I'm going to put down today, next one, RT, greater than 1. Now, I can't put, why is that? Where's my num lock? I can't put that it's just crossing, but I can show you a stock where the price just crossed above the 20-day exponential moving average and RT is above 1. I can run that. That's a simple search. So we're looking at the stocks that you gave me where RT is above 1. Look at this. That is not, and I could put some pricing and volume criteria. That's not a bad way to start trying to make some money, folks, right? So let's go back to the graphs. A lot of the stocks that you gave me, the stock is above the 20-day exponential moving average, RT above 1. I like this as a search to get you in early on some of these stocks like you've given to me. I like some of these stocks. RT above 1. And there it is, RT above 1 and the stock above the 20-day. Look at that. Now, even when the stock's price starts to fall, look at RT. RT's still telling you the stock's in an uptrend. It's above the value of 1. Your stock pulled back here. All right, look at RT, still telling you the stock's above 1. I like Netflix, but this is a time where it's challenging that 20-day exponential moving average. Just be careful with it. Earnings looks good on it. The price is starting to weaken to the upside. If it breaks below that 20-day, you probably want to think about taking half off the table. Sonos, that's got to be news-driven. And you know something? If you ever look at a graph and you think, man, what just happened there? Right here at the top of the graph, click on news. Let's go see what happened with Sonos. Sonos, 13 days ago, Spotify, got nothing to do with what I'm looking for. All right, let's go click on press releases. And 15 days ago, post second quarter, nothing really that's making it move. Interesting. Nothing that's really making it move, but I can always pull up news from a stock right from a graph. I still think that that's news driven. What I do like about it is that it broke through its own level of resistance. See that right there? Broke through its own level of resistance. That may not be a bad play. RT is above 1. Now the stock's above the 20. I don't like the earnings, but I'm not going to disregard what's going on with price action. The stock stayed in a little bit of a channel with today's activity, broke above it. So I would keep my eye on that. If I own it, leave it alone. If I don't, let's go see if I got confirmation of the move tomorrow. All right. Logitech, stock, beautiful. RT above 1. I mean, I can show this to you. These are the stocks that you gave me, right? RT above 1 and look at above the 20-day. Look at that run. Now, if I own the stock, leave it alone. You're fine. Leave it alone. If I don't own the stock, I'd wait till it go up above that level. All right, but if the stock's price breaks below the 20, you probably want to give some of that. Don't want to give it all back. Take some of that profit off the table. Love the equity curve. All right, next stock, FSM, Fortuna, silver mines, just like gold. Let's look at it again. RT above 1, stock above the 20. Look at the stock run. What's it doing right now? Pulling back a little bit. If you own it, leave it alone. Don't panic. But I do see something here. Here's a level of support sitting about 423. It is clearly, it tested it yesterday. It's above it today. Leave it be. If you own it, leave it be. If I don't own it, though, I would look to go higher than that high before I pull the trigger. RT looks good. Earnings looks good. Leave it alone. All right, next one, Disney. Woo-wee. You know what's really hurting Disney? It's not even the streaming, which is just a small part of their business. It's the parks. And I read a story where they're thinking about trying to open up the parks, but you got to come into the park with masks. All right, down day to day. It is above the 20-day. Now, this is where I would use RSI. All right, this is why, because the stock's doing a little bit of sideways move. When the stock is trending down, moving averages work. When the stock is trending up, moving averages work. But now when a stock starts moving sideways, where I would look at RSI or stochastics. Not when it's moving up, not when it's trending. I've got trending indicators. Moving average is a good trending indicator. Right now, the stock is moving, just be careful with it. It is above the 20-day. I don't like the earnings. RT is starting to fall a little bit. I'd wait. I'd like to see it take out that prior high before I pull the trigger. All right, next one, XSPA, Express. Another sideways move right now. Back and forth above that level of the 20-day exponential moving average. RT is moving higher. That's a lot of give back. See that big wick at the top of today's candle? It gapped up. Let me see if that was an earnings play. No. The stock gapped up today, but gave it a lot of it back. That was profit taking. Today was straight up profit taking on that. But with lower dollar stocks, you're going to be susceptible to that. You're going to be susceptible to that. If I own it, though, leave it alone. If I don't own it, I'm not buying it. And I probably won't buy it until it takes out that pivot high. Not until it takes out that pivot high. Even with today's activity, RT is just barely at that. It's at 0.99. I'd need to see RT go above 1 and see some confirmation of today's upward move tomorrow. All right, DKMG, DraftKings. You would think that everybody's at home betting on something. What are you going to bet on? I can bet on how fast the paint's going to dry on my house. I can bet on how fast that blade of grass is going to grow. I don't know what you're betting on. You know, it's tough. So, but I think they're coming up with creative ways to still make some money. Watch, though, from the high, it pulled back. It did have earnings, and on 5/15, it did go up, and after that, it pulled back. Just be careful with that. RT is above 1. I would just be careful with it. I need more follow-through. I love the equity curve, but it's starting to break down a little bit. All right. Wow, DocuSign looks good. Now, I know earnings. I mean, again, because I loved what it looks like, I would put tighter stop on it because of earnings. Love RT, love the move. Serving as a beautiful level of support. I like that a lot. I like that stock, and I cannot lie. I do like that. Watch the wicks, though, at the top. The wicks could be showing some give back. It could be a bearish. I got no bearish candles happening, though. But just watch the wicks at the top. If you're in it, leave it alone. If you're not, go 12 cents higher than the high. And if you do get into it, put a little bit tighter stops because earnings is falling. All right, let's go to the next stock. AMD. We like that, right? Now, even though we like that in the 5G space, what don't you like about the graph? All right, I want to see if anybody types in. What don't you like about this graph? Anybody, anybody, anybody? I'm very curious to know. What don't you like? And I know we're running out of time. What I don't like about the graph is the volatility of the stock. All right, that's what I don't like about the stock. I don't like the up and downosity. There you go, the ups and downs, the roller coaster, the volatility. And right now it is moving sideways. Those are the things that I don't like about it. But I know it's in that 5G space. I'm just, I would keep my eye on it overall. Was it the best one in the 5G space? Maybe Nvidia might be a better way to go. But if you own it right now, you're on a roller coaster. You are on a roller coaster. My stock was the 1-1, says KK. Loch Nessosity. There you go, Jay. I like that. All right. I like that. I like that. All right. Now Joey gave me back the chat. Now I can see the chat. Humana. It's in the health field, right? United Health is another one that's in this field. It is moving up slowly but surely. It's doing a little bit of a begrudging move, but look at that 20-day. It's riding that 20-day exponential moving average nicely. All right, it is. And Intel, Sue, in that 5G space, I really do like Intel. I didn't talk about Intel today, but I like Intel. So, Sue, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I do like Intel. As a matter of fact, before I finish out this list, let's go look at INTC. I do like Intel. And there was almost a story that I was going to use today, but I couldn't find quite the story I wanted. Look at that move. A little bit of a sideways move. I love the earnings on it. I do like the earnings on it. Even through all of this stuff that's going on, I like the earnings on it, and I like the RT. I would wait, of course, for follow-through before I go on board, but I do like Intel in that space. All right? Let's see, what other stocks you have in here? This is the last one, SE.
Okay, go ahead.
What we going to say?
We're going to do one more CPRX.
All right, CPRX. I got you. I like SE. This is on a 6-month graph, not a ton of volatility. Here's coronavirus right here, but look at that. I like that. And you know, internet software, a lot of this technology stuff, I don't know what SE does except for internet software, but I like that as well. Nice move, nice up day. Yo, keep your eye on that. Earnings hit. Look at that run up after earnings. I don't like the earnings is falling down, but I like this stock. Keep your eye on that. If anybody asks me for a stock pick of the week, I'm thinking I would go with SE. Who gave me SE? All right? Who gave me SE? I like that. I do like that. Who gave me SE? Anybody? RV is nothing. You know something? You're right. So I don't want to own this long term, but I could ride that 20-day exponential moving average. I can ride that. I know, Doron, I understand the upside potential is there, but I can't ignore price movement. Now, what about the falling earnings? Because I like the price movement, I'm going to put tighter stop on it because earnings is falling. All right? I would definitely put tighter stops on it, but I do like the equity curve. How do you get past low earnings per share? Daniel, if I'm looking at this and I put my trade on because I know earnings doesn't look so good, I'm going to put a tighter stop on it. That's exactly what I'm going to do. All right? So that's the answer to that question.
CPRX, let's go.
Wow, Joey is just smacking me.
330.
CPRX. All right, let's go peep that. Ooh, let's go put that on a 3-month graph. 1 year don't look so good. Little sideways move. It's in a channel within a channel. Well, it's actually, it's in a channel within a bigger channel. It's in this channel within the bigger channel. A lot of sideways move on it. RT is still above 1. This is where I would put on RSI. Let's go add a parameter. Technical analysis. Actually, I'm going to put on stochastics. Let's go put on stochastics. Right now, the stock is not overbought or oversold, even that it's in a channel. Stock is trading up. Yeah, it's not overbought or oversold. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to touch it right now. If you own it, it's below the 20-day exponential moving average. Not sure if I really want to touch it right now. All right, so that's what CPRX. If I don't own it, I'm not touching it. If I do own it, here's your line in the sand sitting at $4.07. If you didn't get out, if it's below the 20-day exponential moving average. That is your line in the sand. You probably should pull the trigger and get out of that. All right. Thank you, VV Nation, as Joey just said. Thank you. And again, I want you to start hashtagging that all over the place. I want you to really start hashtagging VV Nation. Do it on Facebook. And if anybody asks you, what is that all about? What's this VV Nation? Type in to go to our YouTube page. All right, let's just type it in to go to our YouTube page. Let them get a taste of what it's like to look at some of these stocks in the market and how to use a software like VectorVest to analyze it. All you guys that were here from the summit, Joey and I, no, Cristiano, I only gave you one. I don't even want to give you stock picks of the week because I don't want to be held accountable. Well, Glenn gave me this stock, and I'm saying you in. No, I'm not giving you a second stock. How about that? All right, so with that being said, thank you for being here. Listen, I told you this is a different Glenn in here. This is a different Glenn in here, Cristiano. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it in a fun way. I'm not that kind of guy that wants to give you stock picks. That's not my deal. My deal is to teach you how to use the VectorVest software. That's my goal. All right? You're not coming here to get stock picks. You're coming here to get educated. That's what you're supposed to do here. That's what we're supposed to do here. All right? So, folks, thank you for being here. Joey and I will see you next week. Adios, arrivederci, ciao. Au revoir, sayonara, aloha, be safe out there, folks. I know slowly but surely states are opening up. Just be cognizant and be safe. Be cognizant and be safe. All right, with that, adios, y'all. See ya. Out of here.